welcome back to the garden. Now I'd like to say that mid-May should be full of optimism, but unfortunately the garden is suffering, which I'll go into details in a minute. But I'm going to do a May tour, and if Paddy will let me sit down, I'll come back in my summer house. So I have had so many casualties this week, and I'm more than convinced that the mosaic virus is being caused by my neighbour's tree. This is the tree. It's a plum tree. Now, commercially grown plum trees are never allowed to get that big. But it's in a rented property, and the current tenants have been there 10 years, and I would say the last 15 years or more that has never been managed. My son's a tree surgeon, and he has cut back some of the boughs that came over my side years ago, but apart from that, nothing's been done about it. Now, in a commercially grown orchard, if a plum tree gets the mosaic virus, they remove it and everything within a 50-metre radius, because there's no cure and it's that serious. It's covered in aphid every year, and when you look at the leaves, they're all curled up and they're all patchy. They're all yellow in places, and I am convinced that that is the source. So I think the more I sort of delve into it, I think it's possibly the birds that are causing the problem, because they perch in that tree before they come down into my garden. So I think they're picking the virus up and spreading it. I've got 5 different types of beans: sweet corn, courgettes, chard to plant. It's all ready to go in the garden, but I feel like I'm giving them a death warrant. But they can't stay in the greenhouse, and I'm going to have to chance my luck and put them in the ground and just see what happens. So I'm going to start with the sweet corn. This is the Rising Sun. Okay, so I've sorted out my spacing. I've not gone right to the back of the bed because I've got my apple tree there, and I don't want to risk, if the sweet corn ends up with the mosaic virus, I don't want any of the leaves touching the apple. So as an insurance policy, I'm leaving a gap. What I like to do, I like them all to be growing in the same direction. So the next that's going in is the Golden Gate, which they're well and truly ready. They have got the yellow pods, so they look a bit like runner beans, and you can eat them like runner beans, and they are my absolute favourite. And they have succumbed to mosaic virus in the past, so I'm holding my breath. So I'm putting them up against this cane so that they can ramble away themselves. Give all these beans and the sweet corn a really good soak in a minute. Just get them in the ground. Courgettes are in as well, and I've done 3 of the purple queen bush beans and 2 pongo, and the remaining pongo I've put with the sweet corn. These are all the ambassador peas. They seem pretty happy. And then next to it, I've got my Kent Blue. They've grown a little bit since I've put them in. And the carrots, these, and what were they called? Oh, I'll have to check and I'll let you know, but these have all come up. Garlic's really tall now. Lush green leaves on the top, and then the lower leaves are starting to turn yellow. The more yellow they turn, the more they indicate that they're ready. So I think probably a week or so. We'll see. And then if I turn around, I've got all my onions. They're looking pretty good. These are all my broad beans, and they seem to be okay at the moment. These have all got their first flowers. These are my Charlotte potatoes. Now, touch wood, these seem to be okay. Don't seem to have been affected in any way. The Penton Javelin have definitely got a mosaic virus. They've been moved out the garden. But fingers crossed these will be okay. So next to the greenhouse I've got a tub of shallots this side, and in that container these are really bushing up. Look at that, so much foliage. I've also got a few in here, plus an Aquilegia and some forget-me-nots. I still need to put all my chard in. I shall do that today. But all the salad crops that I put in, I've been harvesting handfuls of those each day, and they've been delicious. The Oloroso, I just love the colour. I'll show you a selection of my herbs. So I've got mint. That seems really happy since I potted that up in that big pot. That looks good. I've also got purple sage and traditional sage. There was a third plant, but I lost that in that really cold winter. I've got garlic chives, which come up every year, and it doesn't matter how much I try and get them out of that gravel, they still come up. They self-seed, but they are lovely. I have some thyme, some rosemary, but it's looking a bit miserable because I accidentally broke a main stem of that. I think that was when I had the wheelbarrow shifting soil in the winter, so it's a bit lopsided, but that might pick up. And some more mint. So I've done the main vegetables, salads and the herbs. Let's do some of the fruit. So if you want to regard rhubarb as fruit, only because you use it in desserts, that's done incredibly well. I'm picking that every few days and it's been fantastic. So this is the Cordon apple. This is Ellison's orange, and it looks really, really healthy, and I am frightened to go near it, touch it or breathe on it. So I'm keeping a distance. And then if I come round, so this is a little fig tree. This is brown turkey, and it's looking quite contented there. It's got one fruit so far. Might just call that Bob. So this bed is for the raspberries. I've got 2 summer fruiting and 1 autumn fruiting. So Morlin Admiral and Tulamane, and they do have flowers on them. That's the Tulamane, or Tulamane, sorry. And this is the Morlin Admiral. So next to these I've got Autumn Bliss, which is it's got a different habit. It's autumn fruiting. It doesn't look well. It's got dead leaves, it's got curled leaves, and that I would say is mosaic virus. If you look at that leaf and you compare it with that, put the two together, totally different. I know the sun's on it, but the colour difference is stark. So I think that's got to come out. I've just got nothing to say really. Finally, these are the strawberries that I think have escaped the virus. They're covered in fruit, but they need weeding badly, but I don't even want to put my hand in there. I'm just going to leave them. But I think these are the sweetheart, these are the runners. I lost all the Cambridge favourites, they were the ones that were in the troughs. Give you a quick glimpse of the Clematis montana. It seems perfectly happy down here. It's sent out some new shoots, and some are wrapping themselves around the trellis already. I've spent the afternoon cleaning and disinfecting the greenhouse again, because I'm so worried about bringing the infection in here. So I don't want my tomatoes to be damaged in any way. So these are the Shirley, and they've got 1 truss already. This is the Gardener's Delight, that's got 1 truss. Now the Sun Gold has got 3 trusses, and I noticed this afternoon I've actually got tomatoes. Look at that. So that's very exciting. So they're all indeterminate, which means they're vines, and they'll just keep growing and growing unless I pinch the tops out. Whereas this one down here, the Roma, is the bush variety, and it's indeterminate, so it'll grow to a certain height and then it won't grow any bigger. So that's my tomatoes. I've got a couple more sweet peas that I can put in. I've got marigolds, nasturtiums, zinnias, cosmos, and I've got some cayenne pepper which need to be potted up. I've got one aubergine that's poked its head through, and Susan's dahlias, the red skin, I've got 3 of those. Also from Susan I've got the petit pois. I've got this many come up. They haven't all come up, but most of them have. And the ambassador, very disappointing again, 40 seeds sown, and that's all that there is. And then over here I've got some coriander, basil. I've got one extra sweet corn that's popped up. And all this basil. My leeks, they really need to go in soon, and some chives. And lastly, these chilies and tomatoes all need potting on. So I've got an Apache, a Scotch bonnet, a jalapeno, which is the tall one. Now, I think that might be Cheyenne, and then 2 Tigerella tomatoes. They definitely need to be potted up.